If any of you guys don't know, Instagram have just done an Instagram update and we can now have Instagram stories. So if any of you guys want like live updates on what's being edited and all that awesome stuff, then just follow me on Instagram because, yeah. What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video. My name is Cameron and today we are reviewing Ultimate Spider-Man issue 71. Now in the previous issue we saw Spider-Man go through all these crazy things and it had something to do with Doctor Strange. Now we never actually found out what was going on, but we know that Spider-Man interrupting Doctor Strange in his mystical abilities sort of sent Spider-Man into some kind of alternate dimension or demon world or something like that, and it's going to have like a major effect on Peter Parker regarding his relationship with Mary Jane and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to get pretty crazy. It's also going to pretty much distance Peter Parker from the rest of his friends, from the people that he cares about. The spirits or the demons or whatever they are formed into people of his past, like Gwen Stacy, Uncle Ben, etc. And then doing that and then treating him the way they do is going to have an effect on Peter Parker in his daily life and stuff like that. So I'd probably say that this is quite a bit of a turning point for Peter Parker in terms of his emotions towards certain characters and distancing. I've already said it, but you guys have been begging me to review this issue and now it's time, so let's get into it. Alright, so getting into the issue, I do have to tell you guys that this is probably one of the most fun and interesting issues so far. Well, recently anyway, just because of all the craziness that Peter takes us on throughout this issue, and honestly, it's going to be life-scarring for him. One thing this comic doesn't exactly fall short of is its humour, and what I love about this is that it's actually given to us through the character of Doctor Strange, and I actually hope that we have this sort of sense of humour in the brand new Doctor Strange movie coming up in the future. Now really quickly, if any of you guys don't remember, Spider-Man actually has been to Doctor Strange's place before, it's just that we never actually saw it because it was most likely in an Ultimate Doctor Strange comic. So I love how they kind of throw that in there, you know, to tie the two comic series together, you know, Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Doctor Strange, so that's awesome. Actually, I don't even know whether there is an Ultimate Doctor Strange comic, but either way, Spider-Man has been there before, and I love how they just kind of threw that little bit of a side story in there to say that they wiped his memory or whatever. It's just awesome. We also discover that this is partially Doctor Strange's fault for the reason Spider-Man is in this situation, because he didn't do some kind of defense spell, so it latched off of Doctor Strange and went onto Spider-Man, and that is what Spider-Man is experiencing this demon, and as you can see on screen, it is literally taking Peter Parker through his paces. He's facing up against all of the villains that he's ever faced up against, and I don't know if you noticed that, but there was also a Captain America's shield, indicating that even some of the superheroes are up against him. You can see it's really laying into Peter as well, because it's going through his memories, it's picking up people that he genuinely cares about, people not only who he cares about, but also people that have already died, and then obviously they're being brought back, they're being like taunted at him. And what you've got to remember is that all of this feels extremely real to Peter Parker, so imagine if this was you in real life. You would be absolutely traumatized for the rest of your life, and even Doctor Strange was talking about some other guy like 100 years ago or thousands of years ago or something like that, and he was traumatized for life as well after an experience like this. So you can already tell that this is such a major event that it will greatly affect Peter Parker in the future of these Ultimate Spider-Man issues. I also specifically love how the art style sort of changes as the comic goes on, and it goes from being kind of, I wouldn't say scary, but it goes from, you know, maybe not as scary, and then as you get further into the issue, the art style just suddenly becomes some kind of horror movie, and it really sets its pace. Like, as you can see, there's very, very dark colours being used. There's like dark tones of red on Spider-Man's costume, and it's really setting the tone for the rest of the comic. I thought Doctor Strange and Wong worked very well together, and you could even see that they were taking the situation very, very seriously, but you very much had the feeling that they had a good relationship together. You could tell that they understood each other and they knew what they were doing, etc. And it really made the comic feel a lot more like a close personal thing instead of like, oh, these two random people are trying to help Spider-Man. You can also very much tell that the one major thing that pushes Peter Parker over the edge isn't all of this crazy stuff with Uncle Ben popping up and Eddie and all of that. It's actually when Mary Jane tries to kill Peter Parker and she keeps repeating the same thing over and over again, saying the fact that she knows he's Spider-Man, the fact that she's in a relationship with him, is one day inevitably going to get her killed. And this demon is more or less just breaking down all of the spirit and all of the hope that is left inside Peter Parker. He's putting all of these bad decisions in his head, sort of making him see his worst fears. Because if you think about it, Spider-Man is Peter Parker's alter ego, and Spider-Man is pretty much the reason why his life is so crazy. It's why he's so worried about the close ones to him. It's all because of Spider-Man, and this demon brings that side out of him and shows it him, showing him the worst possible outcome if he continues to be Spider-Man, or if he continues to stay in a relationship with Mary Jane, or anything along those lines. And we even got J. Jonah Jameson in the mix there as well, actually debating when each character was going to die, and that is really crazy. That is messed up. I was a huge fan of how the Demon turned around and actually used Doctor Strange's fears against him. And what I loved about it was that it kind of showed that even Doctor Strange wasn't this crazy powerful character, and it also showed that he had his own fears as well. But I loved how Doctor Strange sort of came back from that, showing that he is not to be trifled with, and the fact that the Demon actually turned into his father, Stephen Strange, that pretty much made him even more powerful, and he worked off that, and that is just something awesome to see in a comic book, especially from Doctor Strange of the Ultimate Universe. Now eventually Peter Parker is brought out of this state that he's in, he's brought out of this dream world of these demons, this alternate universe of the mind, and almost immediately you can tell that Peter has been crazy like traumatized off this. It's going to have a genuine effect on him, and I've been saying that throughout this entire review, but it really does have an effect on him and his relationship with Mary Jane. The things that he saw whilst he was being held by the Demon are going to burn in his mind for a while, and I think the most traumatic part about that is that the Demon actually had Mary Jane saying those things to him. So even though it wasn't actually Mary Jane, it still very much became what Mary Jane would have been like if she was saying that, and so that's going to have a huge effect on Peter Parker, and it's going to get crazy. Now we're actually on the final page right now, and it's quite sad for Mary Jane because she has no idea what's happened, and it's going to be something that Peter Parker can't necessarily explain very well, and that's also what causes the problems. So there we have it, that is the end of Ultimate Spider-Man issue 71, and it's going to have some major effects on Peter Parker. You already saw it at the end there with Mary Jane being left outside, and it's going to have quite a drastic effect on Peter Parker and Mary Jane's relationship. And it's not necessarily the relationship, but it's more or less what Peter Parker's experienced. It felt very, very, very realistic to Peter Parker. It felt like he was to blame and everyone was blaming him. And of course, he's got that thing going around in his head that Mary Jane is going to be killed by him, or at least he's going to be the cause of it because he's Spider-Man. So that's going to eat away at him for probably the next 30 issues. And it gets a little bit crazy, as I've already said. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to just see it. It's one of probably the most depressing parts of the Ultimate Spider-Man series, just because you see like the breakdown of their relationship really. So yeah, prepare yourself for that. Doctor Strange, and of course his partner in crime, the person that helps him with all the mystical abilities, I can't exactly remember his name right now, but he was awesome as well. And I can't actually remember whether they come into the series again. They do obviously make appearances in other Ultimate Spider-Man comics and other Ultimate like characters comics back then and everything like that, but to be honest, I don't really remember Doctor Strange being in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics that much, so I think that's more or less the last time we see him, pretty much, which is pretty sad considering the new Doctor Strange movie's coming out. I'm turning into an angel again, sorry about that. Well, I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10. It was awesome to see Peter Parker come into those sort of scenarios, you know, put those situations in his head where he's not going to be able to stop thinking about putting people in danger, and as I've already said, it's going to eat away at him for the rest of these issues pretty much, until around issue 100, which is like the Clone Saga. So yeah, the sun's coming back out again and it's making the video go all bright, so I'm going to end the video here. So guys, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about the issue. Hit the like button if you like this video, hit the subscribe button for more of these videos, and I'll see you next time.